How do I become a better public speaker? How do I get paid more as a speaker? How do I get paid anything as a speaker? That's a question a lot of speakers ask. How do I get paid the same for doing a virtual presentation as I do for an in-person presentation? Those are key questions that I've been asked working with over 900 speakers one-on-one for the past 5 years. Today I'm going to share with you 7 takeaways from what I've learned that'll help you generate more sales, get booked on more stages, and create a greater impact with your message. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Jon Cook. I'm the founder of Keynote Content, helping clarify your message, elevate your impact, and change the world for good. And you're watching this because you're a speaker. Whether you're a brand new speaker just starting out and you're saying like, I want to get on stages, I want to connect with more audiences, I want to be able to get my message out there. If that's you, I'm so excited we're connected this early on in your journey. Let's jump in. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. You might say, no, I've been doing this for a while, but I think I'm ready to take this to the next level. How do I really elevate my impact as a speaker? That's great. That's an amazing place to be. Or you might say, no, I've been doing this for a long time, maybe even speaking full time, and I feel like I can fine tune some of what I do as a speaker to help continue to elevate my game. Wherever you are in those 3 lanes, I'm glad you're here, because what I'm about to share with you is going to help you grow your speaking business, get booked on more stages, charge more as a speaker, and in many ways, sometimes even get out of your own way as a speaker. 7 takeaways working with over 900 speakers in over 50 different industries. Everything from financial advisors, Fortune 500 executives, nonprofit leaders, pastors, authors, podcasters, YouTubers, magicians, hypnotists, coaches, so many different coaches, and everything in between. I'm going to share with you what I've learned working with that many speakers. And the first thing I want to tell you is kind of a secret, but some of the most successful, highly compensated speakers in the world have no clue how to grow their speaking businesses. They're popular, probably for something they've done in the business realm or on the athletic field, but they are not prepared. I've worked with Hall of Fame athletes and coaches, New York Times bestselling authors, NASDAQ opening bell ringers, people whose names you would instantly recognize. And I'm here to tell you of some of the most successful, highly compensated speakers that you can even think of. About 20% of them, I would say, from just an educated guess, about 20% of them have an actual plan that they're prepared to know, here's what I want to do with my speaking business next. As far as my next stage and my next steps after an event, after giving a speech, I want my audience to do this next, that they actually have a plan. Only about 20% of those amazing, highly compensated, highly popular speakers actually have a plan. And I'm here to tell you that many of them don't have a great speaking bio. They don't have a great speaker bio at all. They have no way to know how to actually promote themselves. Their talks are usually, hey, I'm just going to tell my story. And it's all over the place and it's going different directions. There's no structure. There's no, here's a clear call to action, or here's a clear offer, or here's a clear compelling next step for you as an audience after listening to this story. It's like, that's an amazing story. And it kind of falls flat. But people really ignore it because, well, that's so-and-so. They had an amazing career, or they grew this business, or they made something like this from an achievement standpoint. Be encouraged, because if you have a great speaker bio, if you have a great talk title with great takeaways saying, I want people to take this away from when I give this talk, I want them to enjoy and experience these type of learning moments, that's great. That means that you are farther down the road than many of the highly successful, highly compensated speakers that you know. So if you're thinking, there's no way I can be able to earn that much per speaking opportunity, there's no way I'll be as successful, as popular as a speaker as this person, I'm here to tell you, yes, there's hope for you. So before anything else, know there's an opportunity for you. And the second takeaway hit me when I was standing off stage with a New York Times bestselling author. And I can't share his name with you because of an NDA, but I guarantee that if I did share his name, that you would instantly recognize it. And he was telling me, he said, Jon, this is the talk that I've wanted to give for 15, even 20 years when I was just getting started as a speaker, as an author. But I felt like I had to prove myself on the stage and on the page before I could really give this talk. And what struck me is that here's an incredible author, an incredible speaker, and he is still being haunted by imposter syndrome. And he's not the only one. As I started working with more and more high-profile clients, I was recognizing that there is no success level. There is no income level that automatically insulates you as a speaker from this feeling of imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome really has this limitless reach. And what you need to know as a speaker is going like, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, that's a good thing, because the ones who don't worry about imposter syndrome are the imposters. Limitless reach is what it has, but there are 3 ways for you to really overcome this idea of feeling like an imposter. Being familiar with your content, more familiar with your content, saying, have you practiced your talk? Have you watched game film of yourself delivering that talk? Have you recorded yourself and had other people that you know, like, and trust who can actually speak into your development as a speaker? Have they watched that talk and given you great, positive, constructive criticism to help you grow as a speaker? The more familiar you are with your content, run your talk. Do it as if you're delivering it live. Do it in your office, looking out the window, and people will think you're absurd. Your neighbor, the building across the street, whoever might be saying, like, the person, you are standing there looking like you're delivering your talk in front of a live audience, because in your mind you are, because you're familiarizing yourself with the content, with the flow, with the structure, how you want this to come across from the execution of it. The more familiar you are with that content, the more you can have that confidence to show up as your best self, as your best speaker on that stage. The second thing is you need to be familiar with the context. You might say, oh, this is my first time delivering a talk or speaking in front of an audience of 10,000. I'm used to maybe 1,000, or maybe you're saying, I'm not used to 1,000, I'm used to 100, or maybe it's not even the size of the crowd, but it's the quality of people that you know in the crowd. I'm delivering this talk in front of 10 Fortune 500 executives, where I'm used to talking with maybe startup owners or founders or entrepreneurs, but these are Fortune 500 executives. How do I really show up in that context to my best self? And there's an amazing book by Todd Herman called The Alter Ego Effect for you to show up. I highly recommend, on the mindset standpoint, that you need to look at that stage as your field of play for your moment of impact. Read Todd's book about the alter ego effect. That's how I step on different stages from a context standpoint. Even if I've never presented in front of that type of audience or that size of audience, it allows me to get the right mindset in place so that my expertise shines through in that moment of impact. You need to be familiar with the context. Even if you don't have the previous experience, you say, I know what I'm stepping into because I've mentally prepared myself to say, I'm not going to see myself as an imposter because I'm supposed to be on that stage, in front of that crowd, in that room. You've got to have that mindset in place and the expertise that comes with that. And the third factor I would say is what I call the confidence of expertise. I see this especially among brand new speakers. It answers the question, why me? Why would anybody want to listen to what I have to say? I'm a nobody, I'm an unknown. But for newer speakers, get your at-bats. For even more seasoned speakers, try bigger stages, try larger audiences, try newer audiences that still fit with your message, but go into new opportunities and say, how do I help really get the at-bats I need to level up my awareness as a speaker, to be well known as the expert that I know that I am. The more you can get those at-bats, the more you can say, I am confident that I'm going to show up and answer the question, why me, turns into the why not me, because I know who I am, I'm confident who I am as an expert. And when imposter syndrome shows up in the future, it likely is tied to those 3 reasons. Are you unfamiliar with the content? Are you unfamiliar with the context? Or do you not feel that confidence of being the expert that you're actually supposed to be? Are you instead saying, I'm asking now the why me instead of the why not me? So if you feel imposter syndrome, and I guarantee you will feel this in the future, ask yourself, is it because of these 3 reasons? Find the answer and turn that weakness into a strength and have that confidence, because you're going to be an amazing speaker. The third takeaway I want you to know is that the best speakers are usually the unknown speakers at an event. I'm talking about the speaker who is at the very end of the hallway, the last room with no AC, and it is 80 degrees inside the room, and it's 4 people there, and they are showing up at their best. They're showing up as if it's 4,000 people. What they don't realize is that of the 4 people, one of those people is an event planner, and they're seeing how you as a speaker are showing up as if it's 4,000 people, giving your full energy. You're definitely into your content. You know your content. You're connecting with the audience. You're telling great stories. You're making a powerful impact with the people who are right in front of you, as if it's 4,000 people, because I guarantee you that event planner is coming back saying, a lot of speakers would fold in that situation. A lot of speakers were like, well, let's just circle up and let's just kind of talk, or if you want to take this session off, that's totally fine. But if you show up big, if you show up at your best as if it's 4,000 people and not just 4 people, event planners notice that because they're in the breakout session rooms. They're looking for who's the diamond in the rough, who's the person that's showing up big with even a small crowd, because I want to put the person who's showing up big in front of my big crowd because I know that they were faithful with that opportunity in front of a small crowd. I want to put them in front of a big crowd and have them show up, because if they can show up like this with a small crowd, man, imagine what they're going to do with a large crowd. If you want to be at your best, you got to show up at your best no matter what the circumstances, no matter the settings. Even if you're at that last room in the hallway at 4 o'clock with no AC on a Friday, show up big and you will be better known as a speaker. This 4th takeaway will likely save you dozens, if not hundreds of hours every year, because you're likely wasting too much time creating too many talks. You might say, I got booked for a new speaking opportunity. I need to create a new talk. No, you don't. You might say, well, I am going back to speak at the same event that I spoke at last year. I need to create a brand new talk, brand new topic, completely different and detached from the previous talk. No, you don't. As a speaker, you only need 3 different talks. You have your manifesto talk, which is kind of your why you do what you do talk. Your second one is your method talk. It's the how you do what you do as an expert, as a coach, as a consultant. The third one is what I call your trending today talk. This is what's happening that's relevant, that's immediate to the last 6 months or the last year in your industry that is still interesting and helpful, that's time sensitive for your audience. I even put together another video where I walk you through those 3 talks, so you can click on the link in the description and you can be able to see that in context. But for right now, you know that only 3 talks are what you needed for you to make a difference as a speaker. You don't need to create a brand new talk for every new speaking opportunity. I guarantee you, use what you have, maybe tweak and adjust some of the content to exactly fit the audience and the exact event, but you don't have to rewrite a brand new talk. You're gonna save dozens, if not hundreds of hours doing that. I promise you, give it a try, you'll find what works. And the 5th thing is, like, I have interviewed over 24 event planners, one-on-one, talking about what do you see from speakers that you say, wow, that's different. What do you wish more speakers would do? What do you wish more speakers would do less of? And consistently what I've heard from that many different event planners is saying, please stop sending me highlight reels. Please stop sending me these sizzle reels, which, by the way, that's an awful term. I didn't come up with it, but the 5th takeaway is stop using sizzle reels. We need to ban sizzle reels, because what it is for the event planner, they're saying, I'm seeing 5-6 second clips that are put together with background music that sometimes doesn't even match, but it shows me 5 or 6 seconds outside of context when I would rather see 5 or 6 minutes in context. Let me show me like a sample of you giving a 5, 6, 7 minute clip from a talk. You can send me the whole talk if you want. But what it does is it helps me as an event planner say, how does a speaker move on stage? How do they show up from a intonation standpoint, from a delivery standpoint? Does their content make sense? Because if I see a 5 or 6 second clip, I don't know, where does that even fit inside the talk? Does it even make sense? Because any speaker can look great with 4, 5, 6 second clips, but when you put a 5, 6, 7 minute clip together, it helps me as an event planner say, how is this speaker actually going to look on my stage? So stop putting together highlight reels and send actual clips of you delivering your talk, even if it's you in front of a blank wall, not in front of a live audience, but you deliver your content. You can record that, send it to an event planner. They'd rather see that than this 5 or 6 second clips just kind of sandwiched together with background music, and they're saying, I don't have a context. So send them an actual sample, not sizzle reels. The 6th thing is that you are leaving money left over on the table. You have your speaker fee. You might say, I'm getting paid to speak. I would rather be paid not to speak and be able to speak for free if it means that I can make an offer from stage, that I can talk about my coaching program or my book sales, or I can talk about some type of online course that then is a revenue share. I would rather have that in place if it means that that's going to be greater profitability. If you're saying, oh, I just want to get my speaker fee. Let's say your speaker fee is $2,000, $5,000, and I want to get paid that $2,000 speaking fee. But you don't realize that, yeah, you're getting paid that, but you can't talk about your coaching program. You can't talk about your book sales. You can't talk about your online course, whatever it is that you actually want to sell after the event for the right people, and where you could have made $20,000 in sales because you made an offer from stage. You said, no, I'd rather take the $2,000 instead of the $20,000. For your speaking fee, I'm here to tell you, if they say, no, we don't have you inside our budget, your speaking fee is not inside our budget, saying that's okay. I will speak for free for your audience, but I need them to be able to make an offer from stage. I need to talk about my coaching program or my book that I'm selling or my online course. And then from there, if you want, we can do a revenue share, a 60-40 or a 50-50 split or whatever it might be. So instead of them saying, okay, not only do we not have to pay you from a speaker fee standpoint, but we actually might get paid for every time that you make an offer and you are able to sell that at our event. Absolutely, that's a win-win. And from there, instead of saying I got paid that $2,000 for my speaking fee, saying I made $20,000 in sales for my coaching program or for my online course or my book, and I was able to keep 50% of that. Now you made $10,000. They made $10,000, and instead of being down $2,000, and instead of you making the $2,000, you actually made $10,000 net after paying out their $10,000 out of your $20,000 sales. Track all that? So saying, would I rather have the speaking fee? If I did say yes to the $2,000, maybe I left the $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 in offer sales from that coaching program that I would have made if I would actually talk about my program after my talk or throughout my talk. Instead of saying $2,000, would you rather have $20,000? That's where speakers are leaving money on the table. The seventh thing is there is no book needed. You don't need a book to be a highly successful speaker. Some of the most highly successful, most popular speakers that I've worked with have 0 books. They have no books published. They have no book contract. They have no booking agent on the publishing side of things. They have probably a book idea, maybe a book outline, but there's no book, and they're still getting paid $20,000, $50,000 a talk because they are an expert in what they deliver. They don't need a book to validate them. And for you as a speaker, saying, I want you to, more than anything else, is going, you don't need something on the page to validate who you're supposed to be on the stage. And as I mentioned, my company is Keynote Content. We work exclusively with speakers who are ready to make a difference with their message. And if you are saying, I'm ready, I've seen all of these, how these can help me as a speaker grow my impact, I can help you. You can go to workwithjoncook.com, you can fill out a form. We're gonna hop in a call, we're gonna talk about your speaking business and where you wanna go next. And I've worked with this many speakers, and I guarantee I can help you get higher speaking fees, get booked on more stages, and get the impact and clarity that you need to make a difference with your message. Workwithjoncook.com, fill out the form, we'll talk with you soon.